Hey, what's going on, my friend? Welcome to Relation Shots, the place to get practical relationship advice that actually works in your relationship. If you want a free guide to intimacy, you'll see a link in the description area below. If you're watching this video on the day that it's released, then happy Valentine's Day. It's the day of love, and you know we love love. In fact, we love love so much that it's estimated that we will spend $26 billion this year around Valentine's Day. And so I thought, in honor of the Day of Love, why don't I go ahead and give you 5 lies that you might believe about love. And why is this important? Here. What we believe determines how we behave. And that's across the board in every aspect of life. So what you believe about love, about relationships, about dating, about marriage, will determine how you behave in relationships, in marriage, and how you evaluate whatever, quote, love is that you have towards some other person. So I want to help you. I want to help you with some stuff that you may be believing. This is a myth, it's a lie, and it is not helping you in relationships, but it's actually hurting you in relationships. So I'm going to give you 5 myths or 5 lies, however you want to say it, that you might actually believe about love so that you can kind of correct this stuff and end up having a good perspective, a healthy perspective to develop healthy strategies for love, relationship, and marriage. Myth number 1 is that you need to find, quote, the one, right? That he or she is out there for you. You know, your soulmate, your purpose mate. You just need to find that one person that was created specifically for you. And once you find that person, everything else doesn't matter. Like somehow if you find that person, then the relationship will no longer be work, which is a whole nother issue that some people believe. But listen, soulmates, they're just not real. They're not biblical for some of you who are people of faith. You romantics, they don't exist. In fact, it's Greek mythology. That's where it came from. Soulmates came from Greek mythology. The myth goes that there were these humans that had 2 heads, 4 arms, 4 legs, and so the gods were scared of them, and so they thought, hey man, we're going to split them right down the middle, and they'll run around trying to find their other half for the rest of their life. That's where soulmates came from. So if you still believe in soulmates, then when you also run across Zeus and Poseidon, go ahead and tell them hi for me. But here's the reality. You get to choose who you want to be in relationship with. You get to choose who you want to marry and spend your life with. And everybody you choose will have a set of unresolvable issues and specific difficulties with that relationship. There is not some magical one. You just need to decide who you like to spend time with. You need to line up some values, and you can watch all my other videos to find out what's important in marriage. But there's no such thing as a soulmate. You don't need to find, quote, the one. You just need to date, and part of the dating process is trying to figure out who you do want and who you don't want, what you do need and what you don't need. So that's myth number 1. Myth number 2 is that chemistry is the key to compatibility. And so many times we're evaluating our relationships based on, quote, chemistry, whatever chemistry is. And when I ask people, well, how do you know if you have chemistry? Well, it's just there or it isn't, and we just feel it. And here's the problem. For a lot of people, what they would call chemistry is actually tied to their dysfunction, their own issues, and really oftentimes has nothing to do with the quality of the relationship, but it's about something inside of them. If you don't understand what's going on inside of you, you will continue to be attracted to the same kind of people, and certain kinds of people will make you feel some kind of chemistry, which may actually be anxiety attached to your attachment style, or it may be some other thing like repetition compulsion that psychologists say that you're trying to replay an old relationship that didn't work either from childhood or past relationships and with the same people, which is why you're attracted to the same type, trying to repeat it, to recreate it, to somehow feel better. And so oftentimes, whatever you deem to be chemistry has nothing to do with the other person in a relationship. It has everything to do with stuff inside of you that you've not dealt with anyway. So when I look at compatibility, I think there's 4 components. Chemistry is one, which means, do we enjoy time together? Is there an attraction? Is conversation easy? I think that is a component. That's one component. Another one is complementarity. How do our differences come together and make each of us better through our differences rather than running over each other? Comparability is the third component. What do we like and do together? What are our similarities? And then community is a component. Listen, you need to be able to get along with their people. They need to get along with your people. And your people need to be able to get along with their people. If you don't have community, you're going to have all kinds of problems. So listen, chemistry is not the key to compatibility. There's a number of other things, and you can't always trust chemistry. Anyway, myth number 3 is follow your heart. Don't. Listen, your heart has gotten you into more trouble than anything else in the world. Your emotional decisions have probably caused you more problems than any other decision you make in your life. Listen, our emotions will deceive us, will confuse us, will cloud the issues in our lives. When we're dating and when we're evaluating relationships, we need to do it with our head and our heart. We can't just go with our gut. Well, I just know, and I just feel it, and I just know in my heart that this is right and all that other stuff. No, you need to go with your head. You need to evaluate with logic and our heart. Our emotions are important, but they're not everything. Think about it. There's probably nobody in the world that has let you down more than you. And oftentimes it's because you are following your heart. Don't trust your heart. If you're a person of faith, you already know Jeremiah 17:9. The heart is deceitful above all things. It's beyond cure. No one can understand it. Do not trust your heart. Do not go with your gut. Use your head as well. Dating, mate selection, marriage is both a head and a heart decision. So quit just following your heart blindly. Your heart will lead you into some bad decisions. Myth number 4 is we will build on the good and we'll work out the bad. Most people in relationships are looking at it, and when they're looking at the future, if you're dating and you're thinking about marriage, you often say to yourself, hey man, we got all these good areas, and what we need to do is we just need to keep building on the good, and then we're going to work out the bad and eliminate it and minimize it so that we've got way more good than we have bad, and this is going to be awesome. And that often causes us to get in a relationship. Some of you are dating people for potential. Stop that, please. Don't date potential. Date what's present, because you have no guarantee that the potential will turn into something good. Too many people believe that the good will last and the bad they can work on, when the reality of most relationships is the good doesn't always last and the bad often gets worse. Remember, in the dating process, you're on your best behavior. In the dating process, you don't have all of the relational dynamics, pressures, and stresses that an actual marriage does. So I'm not saying all the good's going to go away, but the good often doesn't stay at the same level of good when you get into marriage, because there's a lot of other dynamics that are added onto it. And the bad often gets worse because we're on our best behavior. So if you're sitting here believing, well, if the good stuff can just get better and if the bad stuff can decrease and we can work on it, this will be a great relationship, that's probably not going to happen. Just assume the good will not be as good and the bad will probably get worse. Can you live in that relationship for the rest of your life? If the answer is no, then quit buying into that myth and understand what relationship is really all about. And myth number 5 is the purpose of dating is marriage. Man, we're dating just to get married. No, stop it. The purpose of dating is not marriage. Is marriage often an outcome of dating? Absolutely. We usually don't get to marriage unless it's an arranged marriage without dating. But the purpose of dating cannot simply be marriage, because you put too much pressure on the dating process. You start evaluating everybody you would ever go on a date with through the lens of, could I marry them? And you start missing out of all kinds of opportunities that dating provides. Let me give you some views on dating that you can have instead of the perspective is simply for marriage. Listen, view dating as a way to learn about other people. You're gathering data. You're learning about people, what you like, what you don't like, who you would want to be with, what qualities you don't want to be with. And you may be surprised if you date some people that you wouldn't think are your type, that you wouldn't think you're married. You may find some qualities that you didn't know existed or you didn't even know was important to you until you experience them in the dating process. View dating as a way to get to know yourself. Listen, there's no better way to get to know yourself than get around other people. And you're going to be out with some people and they're going to bring some stuff out of you. You may evaluate after a relationship, why did that person get under my skin the way they do? Why did that person give me butterflies and make me all giddy the way that they do? And so you begin to learn about yourself and how you respond and react to different people through the dating process. View dating as a way to work on your relationship skills. Those people who are like, I'm only dating to marriage and I'm not doing anything else. Well, guess what? When you get to marriage, you won't have relationship skills because you have not dated. That's like a football player saying, I don't practice, I don't even play in the regular season. I'm only a Super Bowl guy. That's all I do. I just wait for the Super Bowl. Guess what? You're going to show up in the Super Bowl and you're going to suck because you don't have any football skills. So don't tell me that you're just waiting for marriage. You don't have time to date and do all that kind of stuff. You have plenty of time to watch Netflix. You have time to go get dinner with somebody, have coffee with somebody, get to know somebody new so that you can learn about yourself and build some relationship skills. I'd rather make my mistakes on the dating field with the people who I got no potential of marrying so that when the right person comes along, the person that I really feel I could be in a long-term relationship with, I now have got some skills. I've already made my mistakes. I know what I'm doing. I know how to interact. I know how to communicate. I know how to resolve conflict in a healthy way. I've developed some relationship skills that will serve me well in a relationship. And listen, view dating as maybe an opportunity to serve others. You may go on a date with somebody who's never going to be the person you're going to end up with, but you treat them well. You set the bar high for them. They may leave an interaction with you going, well, that wasn't my person, but you know what? I deserve to be treated like that. You can serve other people well. Leave them better than when you found them by treating them well, by treating the waitress or waiter well. You can show them that character matters and integrity matters. So view it as an opportunity to serve people. Listen. The purpose of dating is not simply marriage. And when you believe it's marriage, you will only go out with the people that you think you could marry. You'll write people off too quick. You'll miss opportunities to learn about others, learn about yourself, practice relationship skills, and maybe even serve other people. So there's 5 myths that you might believe about love. And if you do, I promise you, those myths are causing you to go with strategies and behaviors into relationships that are not serving you well. And I would rather you go in with some truth so that you can experience healthy relationships and be successful in relationships. I'd love to hear your thoughts on these 5 myths. Maybe drop a myth that you think some people believe, or maybe you also believe too. We can have a discussion about that in the comment section below. Listen, if you want a foundation, a path, a roadmap to healthy relationship, check out our relationship blueprint. It's a mini course, really inexpensive. We cover 5 different areas of relationship that we believe are foundational to have a healthy relationship. You'll see a link in the description area below, or maybe a card above, depending on what we throw on this video. But we'd love to help you in your relationship journey. And until next time, I'll see you right back here on Relation Shots.